All right, guys, today we're going to talk about the 5 scotches that you need to have. Let's get it going. I know what you're thinking, but I don't know anything about Scotch. Well, if you listen to any of my podcasts or some of the videos I did before, I talked about Scotch and I talked about what makes it different. Let's talk about the 5 scotches you need to have in your bar right now. Now, these are not they're bottle specific, but they're not. You might not be able to find some of the bottles. I'm sorry. So let's start with a blended Scotch, right? A blended Scotch. So a blended Scotch is just that. It's a single malt Scotch mixed with a grain whiskey, right? So the one I'm going to pick out is none other than Compass Box Artist Blend. Okay. Now, this is a blended Scotch whiskey, so it is both single malt and single grain whiskey, right? Blended together. This, to me, I just finished a bottle of this. That's why I haven't opened this one. This is actually a single barrel pick. Like I said, you might not be able to find that one. But Compass Box is it even has a tater sticker on the back. Compass Box is a blending house, and they are an independent bottler. And what they're doing is they're taking unique casks and unique things and seeing what they do. You know what I mean? So it's really cool to see what they're doing. Compass Box, the artist blend especially, really nice, really fruity, not smoky or anything like that. We're going to get into some smoke, but it's really not. Now let's move on to Lowland, right? A lot of people don't look at Lowland distilleries whenever they're looking for Scotch, right? They all go towards Macallan or something like that, right? Or Glenfiddich, Glenfarclas, stuff like that. But I picked out Auchentoshan. Yeah, say that 3 times fast. Auchentoshan American Oak. Now this is a 3 to 4 year old whiskey. This is a single malt, so it's only malted barley, right? But this one is only aged in used bourbon barrels. Okay, so it gives a lot of bourbon flavors. It doesn't have any sherry influence or port or anything like that. It's just the oak. And the color, now in Scotland, they can add coloring and stuff like that. So I don't know if this has been colored or not. It doesn't say, of course, but this one, and the cool thing about Auchentoshan, they triple distill all of their whiskey. So it's going to have a lighter profile. It's going to be really nice, floral, fruity, a little bit of vanilla and cherry from the bourbon oak. Really, really great pour. I've enjoyed that one. And it's really good in when you do tastings and stuff like that because it presents like a bourbon would, only a little malty and stuff like that. All right, let's go on to something that it's not unicorny, but it kind of is. The Glendronach Port Wood. Okay, this bottle right here. Woo. Okay, so most of the time when you have scotches, they are normally finished in sherry barrels, right? PX, Oloroso, stuff like that, right? They're not often finished in port. So you're talking raisin, plum, dark stone fruit. Obviously, that's what those are. But it's also one of those whiskeys where it's very dry on the back end, so it presents like a wine would. It's 46%. Man, it is so, and it's dark. It can be dark as can be because of that. In scotches and other whiskeys like that, you could have up to a certain percentage of the substrate, so the port, in the actual whiskey. So they call it a new dump. So they dump the port out, put the whiskey in. So that wood is stuck with a bunch of port in it. I bet if you let it sit for a day, it would probably pool to the middle, and you probably have, half a gallon of port. So that does influence it a lot, but they do that with sherry. They do that with bourbon even. A lot of the bourbon barrels that they get are disassembled, so then they have to recoup them. So let's move on to another distillery. Now this one is an interesting one. We'll get into it. It's none other than Bruichladdich Islay Barley. This is the 2013 release. This is a unpeated Bruichladdich. This presents as super, how do I say it? super grain forward, but it's also super nice. Like it has so many sweet characteristics, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it is 10 years old, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it's not because it's not age stated, but this is an amazing bottle. If you can find it, that is. And Brooklotti's doing some really cool stuff with unpeated stuff. So, it's one of those things. I know not everybody's a peat head, and I get that. But if you are, then you got to go with, you knew I was going to do it, the Lefroy. Some people call it Lafroig. I don't know why you would call it Lafroig, because it's Lefroy. But this is the Lefroy 10. This is their 10-year-old. Amazing. This is probably my 4th or 5th bottle. Like, seriously, I make smoky old fashions with it. Oh, they're so good. Neat. It's amazing. In a highball, so good. Reasonably priced. 43%. A little low on the proof. I would the Lefroy 10 castrate. Knock your socks off. Good luck finding it though, right? Lefroy obviously doing some amazing stuff. If you're into that smoky, briny, peaty, neat, profile, this is the one to go after. So, I hope that kind of hems you up on Scotch and what you should be looking for. All of these brands that I told you, they are making some amazing whiskeys. So if you can't find the one that I had, something from them is amazing. I know the Lefroy, the 10, they have one called the Select, which is a younger version. It's actually more peated. Because the longer it sits in the cask, the more the peat dissipates. Ardbeg is doing some amazing stuff. I'm just naming off distilleries at this point. But if you have any questions, comments, concerns about Scotch, just let me know. Shoot me an email, whiskyshamanpodcast@gmail.com, and we can talk through it. Please think about following, liking, subscribing, trying to get numbers up, and just a simple like will help for sure. And I love you guys. Be safe out there. Drink responsibly. And until next time, keep your spirits up.